Steelwool has single-handedly revived all hope in the Fnaf community with their new game, Five Nights at Freddy's Help Wanted 2. At the moment, most of the online space has this game in the forefront of the discussion for being the best, most enjoyable Fnaf game. And after this video, you'll know exactly what my thoughts are about it. So without further ado, let's talk about it. But first, I do have to mention, this is a full spoilers review. All endings, minigames, and secrets will be talked about in detail as I see necessary. You have been warned. Fnaf Help Wanted 2 released 10 days ago at the time of recording this, and I have a lot to say about it. I have theories which I will save to the end, but right now I'm going to talk about just the mini-games and the gameplay that comes along with it. Starting with the Backstage section, we're going to work our way down. The Arts and Crafts Daycare was one of the first mini-games I played. And this mini-game, I've got to say, is really fun. I really enjoyed interacting with Sun. It's always fun to hear Kellen Goff. He is continuously my favorite voice actor. Making paper pals and seeing Sun absolutely destroy her work has got to be a highlight of the game. It's absolutely just a fun ride from start to finish. This, in my mind, is one of the better mini-games for Help Wanted 2. Next for the Arts and Crafts is actually the Loft. And apparently, the Loft is where Sun goes when he doesn't want to turn into Moon. This minigame had some poor pacing, and really had me stuck on it for a solid 30 minutes. If you saw my first Help Wanted 2 video, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. The Salon is the next minigame, and has got to be one of the most hyped trailer moments for any Fnaf Roxy enjoyer / fan. Putting all these random assortments of makeup and or accessories on both staff robots and Roxanne herself is honestly just a fun time. I absolutely love how snarky Roxanne is, and I want to see more of her voice acting. Moving on to the Fazcade, we're starting off strong with Bonkabon and Bonkabon bonus round. These two minigames were just a fun time. I absolutely loved how Plush Baby was implemented, where she had to be hit multiple times, and once again, there is another wonderful opportunity to see Helpy getting utterly abused by the player once more. DJ Music Time, Beginner, Advanced, and Pro are all real fun. I just wish it was more of a rhythm game approach, rather than matching what he shows you. But of course, DJ Music Man absolutely steals the show. I think I had a bug where none of the mini Music Men showed up, because I only remember getting killed by them one time and never seeing them again. Although I am so happy to say that Ruined DJ Music Man is in the 3rd level. Now this is one our community has been waiting for at least 3 games. Bonnie Bowl. Ever since the file rippers dug it out of the files, we knew that Bonnie Bowl was meant to be a thing, but we're sorely disappointed due to the fact that Ruin had brought back some of the arcade games, like Chica's Feeding Frenzy, I believe, and the second half of Monty Golf, but leaving out Bonnie Bowl still. Now, Phasma Blast is one of my higher rated mini-games because it not only has 5 separate levels, but also has a pretty hefty secret tied to it, and changes up the gameplay with every single level. It's pretty self-explanatory, so I don't think I need to delve into this one, but it's safe to say that the secret at the end with Springtrap and the boss battle was great. Starting with the staff-only section, we start off with Cold Storage. Now this minigame was memed to hell because of the fact that in the trailer we see this tester who was allegedly more afraid of Freddy than Luigi is of ghosts. Moving on to First Aid, this one's pretty fun. I really enjoyed operating on Helpy and just having the 3 different animatronics from Fnaf 6 just being on your right, left, and even middle this time. Scrap Baby looked absolutely astonishing, Lefty was super scary, and Pigpatch existed. This game has got to be in my top 5. Now on to another very long-winded minigame, Fizzy Faz, nights 1 through 5. Yep, you heard it, another minigame with 5 levels. This one's certainly not bad, but I won't be playing it for fun. That's all I'm saying. I like how we could legitimately imagine a Phaz technician in this position, trying to oversee the robots, making sure they don't rebel against him and try to kill him for whatever reason. That probably includes Vanny, if I'm being honest. But let me tell you, now it's time for food prep. This is what I was waiting for. I needed this minigame, and it was only slightly disappointing. Unfortunately, I do think there was a major fall-off with this minigame due to the fact that the only animatronic that is around you that can kill you is the endos. And excluding them, the only thing you can be punished by is running out of time or messing up an order. I personally would have liked it if you had to fend off Chica, seeing as she appears around you while trying to make those orders. I personally think that would have added a lot. Onto the ticket booth. This one was certainly one to remember. The carousel, I wouldn't say was super scary, but it was certainly memorable. The fact that Moon is revolving around you as the carousel spins faster and faster and more lights turn on as you continue to fix the broken machinery, seeing the fire in the background, meeting the new Moon alternate animatronic, absolutely amazing. Super well done, super fast, so it's easy to grind some of the prizes for the all prizes achievement. I loved the carousel. Now, Captain's Foxy Log Ride. This one actually gave me a bit of a headache because of the fact that I thought I knew where all the secrets were on that one, and then spent about 6 runs, which are probably about 7 minutes each, just trying to find the blue stars, despite the fact that I'm obviously an idiot and needed a guide. So that kind of soured my experience for this one. Personally wish that I wasn't stupid. Now, big one here, sister location. This category is jam-packed with some bangers, let me tell you. Starting off strong with my favorite minigame of Help Wanted 2, if not runner-up, Ballora Gallery. This one is absolutely terrifying. I have never gotten such a viscerally awful feeling of fear since Hallways from Help Wanted 1, where the nightmare animatronics are stalking you and are all around you. That one gave me shivers, and Ballora amps it up with her dancing in front of you. If her legs had collision, then I would absolutely be jump scared hundreds of times over, because she came way too close to me. I think that was due to the fact that her tracking was off if you ran too fast, and in my panic, I became a rowboat of sorts and kind of zoomed through the map. But wow, what a terrifying feeling it was to see this massive figure as you are this ant on the floor, spinning towards you. Now onto one of my least favorites from the original, Breaker Room. Breaker Room was the worst, if not second worst, minigame that we had from the original sister location, made so much better in Help Wanted 2. There's not a whole lot to say about this. It's pretty much the Breaker Room from sister location, but in 3D, and it's not as finicky, I'll say. It's certainly easier to spot Freddy and even avoid him. You won't get killed instantly for touching a switch the wrong way. And I personally like that fix, believe it or not. Now, the 4 office sections are the reason that Ballora Gallery probably isn't my number 1. The private room with Ennard, showing you that Ennard is not someone to mess with. He is personally extremely terrifying when you see him coming through the vents, and even when he's slinking down the hallway like a grandpa with a hip issue, he is pretty menacing. Puppet Master, I believe this is the one that the secret was on. I found that secret kind of on accident. I thought I would have to do Dawko's trick and kind of glitch through the drawer in order to get to that keypad. But fortunately, the lock is just off for that night, so that's great. The Puppet Master was never really anything special. Fun Time Gang, this one reminds me the most of the sister location custom night. I absolutely loved how Funtime Foxy kept just destroying me, because most players probably thought she was going on the right, when in fact she was not. Her camera's on the right, she comes from the left. What a fun time. Seeing her Usain Bolt down the halls is honestly so funny. But now, on to the most important and my favorite of those office sections, job interview. This is the one that everyone was talking about, where you have red light, green light, flashlight tag, and I believe hide and seek. All thanks to Baby and her Biddy Babs / mini arenas for some reason. At the very end of the night, Baby will march into your office and give you an ice cream, and her menacing stature has never given me such heebie-jeebies since Blur Gallery, pretty much. Because that experience was second to none up until Baby came in and waltzed over to me, handed me ice cream through her chest cavity. Now, that may be all the minigames that show up on the monitor, but technically Princess Quest 4 is a minigame. Princess Quest 4 was such a nice break in all of the camera flipping and food prep games and phaser blasting, all that stuff. Princess Quest 4 is so completely different to all of those. And even though there are so many VR games that try to replicate this gameplay and even do it better by most standards, this one is so fun just to finally be in Princess Quest. It is such a nice feeling to see the princess walk up behind you and slowly turning around to notice that she is legitimately in the room with you as you're transported into the game. Or at least, that's what our player sees. I don't know what this means lore-wise. The lore section is going to be what I think is factually true to what is happening in this game. I'm gonna leave speculation to the next section. So in this game, Steelwool wants us to believe, from what I know and what I've seen from the trailers, that we are a fast technician. Us as a person go so deep into the AR and Vanny as in VANNI, shenanigans, that we are killed by Glitchtrap and taken to the Staffbot's consciousness. The mask bot from Ruin. Now that was a very, very bare bones explanation, because I don't really want to talk about too much else, seeing as I don't know why Vanny's there, or what Glitchtrap's intent was, or what happened when we were grabbed by all those staff bots. Because in that cutscene, we supposedly have our mask on at that point, right? So I'm not going to say too much about that. But what I will say is that Candy Cadet's story was super great. I just wish it had the game win sound from Ruin to show us that he was done talking and that we hadn't missed any coins. I was kind of going crazy about that. But regardless, Candy Cadet's story is about a girl, and this girl is taken by a witch into these dark woods, supposedly to be eaten, and she barely escapes the witch's oven with a scar. And this is a lifelong scar that will not heal over time, it's said. This girl then grows up and apparently goes back for revenge. But when she goes back to these dark woods, she is greeted by a boy who claims to want to help her fight the witch. And so she agrees to go with this boy to the witch's cottage. And when they reach the witch's house, the boy convinces her to sleep and wait till the next day to fight the witch. So the girl agrees, and the next morning she follows the boy into the house, and I quote, "The oven door closed. The witch would finally have her meal." This supposedly suggests that she gets eaten right there and was deceived by this little boy, or whatever may be disguised as this little boy that takes her into the woods once more. I don't have a whole lot to say about the Candy Cadet story, unfortunately, because I really just don't know what it could mean. But for theories, I think at this point, it's all but proven that we are Cassie's dad. I am definitely one of the Cassie's dad believers for this one. I didn't watch any videos to come to this theory. I simply pieced it together as I was live, and it was one of the greatest feelings playing the game and feeling like I understood the story and where it was going. It was such a great feeling, and I really hope to see more from this game. But let's get more into the speculative things. So I think, yes, we are Cassie's dad in Help Wanted 2, us the player. And as we know, Cassie's dad, us, is a FAS technician. And I think, judging on what's happening, we are trying to find out what's wrong with the Pizzaplex. There's something inherently wrong, and we notice that. And we investigate it. And we're good. We get onto Vanny's trail. And I think we're too good. I think this game takes place during and after Security Breach. Definitely before Ruin. I don't think it takes place anywhere near when Ruin takes place. It's gotta be before by at least a good amount. But I think we do so good that Glitch Trap finds us because we're so just deep into, as I said, the Vanny stuff and the AR, whatever's going on there. And we end up imagining ourselves pretty much going into Princess Quest, but we go too deep, as I said, and it's obviously before Ruin, because Cassie in Ruin alludes to her dad no longer being with her, probably being dead. So I believe that, yes, we get in too deep, and we learn too much, and Glitch Trap finds us out, and he makes the staff bots get rid of us permanently. And with our death, I believe our consciousness of some sort is transferred into that staff bot that ends up becoming the mask bot. Because as we see, we do hand Cassie the mask from our own perspective. It's not a third-party perspective. It is a first-person mask bot perspective, looking down on Cassie. So we know that us as the player has some sort of connection with that mask bot now. And I believe it's because we possessed that bot after our untimely death from going so deep into the mystery of the Pizzaplex. Once again, I don't know what to think about Candy Cadet. You're all gonna need to help me with this one. I don't have a single clue. I'm sorry. There are so many different ways I could try to think about it, and I feel like none of it's making sense to me right now. Just as the Ruin DLC Candy Cadet stories didn't quite fit. But with that being said, after playing this game for about 12 hours, I'd say, this is the best official FNAF game that we have seen to date. And this shows me that they can make high quality games. This shows me that FNAF as a series is not done. And most importantly, it shows a light at the end of the tunnel, which brings me hope that the next FNAF games will not be including Springtrap Impreg. So that being said, yeah, I actually give this game a 10 out of 10. It was so thoroughly enjoyable throughout the entire process, and I would love to revisit this game soon. I'm big on speedrunning, so we'll see what I have in store for Help Wanted 2. But yeah, that's about it from this review. That's about it from me. If you liked the video, make sure to like and subscribe. It helps me a lot. So with that being said, that is about it from me. Happy holidays and have a day.